Alrighty, so we are here for episode number 2. Tim tries to write his persuasive value speech in 15 minutes a day. Got my timer here, gonna set it for 15 minutes, so off I go. And let me pull up my screen share and see exactly what we were dealing with last time. Because I've changed it a little bit. I've moved things around. Because, I didn't think how exciting it would be you watching me research. So what I've done since the last episode is I've sniffed around. I went to the Columbia College Library webpage and I found a place that said subject and databases, and then I clicked that, and then I found a link that said speech, and then I clicked that, and that took me to a list of all these different databases that I could use to research my speech. Another way you could actually just do it is just go to the library and click the subject or databases. So I did that. I entered my W number and it took me to all these different databases, and I went to the CQ researcher and I typed in sports just to kind of see what came up. I was like, wow, that's a lot of stuff, but it gave me a lot of good ideas. And so I found some of the things I liked and I sent them to myself electronically. And then I scribbled down some other ideas. Then I went to Google Scholar and I found some other stuff. Then I sent it to myself, creating a research file in order to just kind of build and to start giving me ideas of what I want to put in the speech, right? Because my approach is that, I want the research to write the speech. I don't want to write the speech myself because I'm just not very smart and I just don't have time to write a speech. I need my research to write my speech for me, right? So, with that in mind, what you're looking at here is you're looking at kind of some research graphs that I did. So before we kind of get to that, I guess that I was putting together some research. I'm like, all right, this assignment is going to be hard. So how do I structure it? It's 3 points. Competitive sports are overrated. So it seems like I want to be using a criteria application organizational pattern. The textbook says that it's only 2 points. I disagree. I think it's 3 points because I've used that 2-point structure before. My debate teams used that 2-point structure before, and I've lost and we've lost. I think it's very important to start the body of the argument with a point where you just kind of clarify what it is you have to do for the thesis to be true, right? Because I've only got 5 to 7 minutes of my speech, and it's going to be really hard for me to make these broad generalizations about competitive sports and how overrated they are without somebody in the audience going, Tim, what about this? What about curling? What about soccer as it relates to nonprofit organizations in underdeveloped? All right. So I would spend the first point kind of defining terms and giving shape to what are my obligations in order for me to prove that the thesis is true, right? So say, for example, if I had to make the argument that Barbie is good, I think in the first point, I want to define exactly like what I mean by Barbie, right? What exactly I'm looking at when I talk about like what Barbie is or is not. But in addition, what does it mean to be good, right? My suggestion would be trying to find that in very quantifiable terms, measurable terms, right? I mean, if we think about the philosophical work of George Berkeley, Berkeley argued that there's primary qualities and secondary qualities. Primary qualities being things that you can touch and weigh and measure. Those are the types of things that I'd be trying to pull into the first point. I want to be able to show that, I'm like, look, if I can show you that the head weighs 50 pounds, I win. Look, head weighs, look, let's measure the head. Versus if I try to tell you eating a head is delicious, well, taste is hard to measure, right? It's a secondary quality, all right? So I was kind of thinking, all right, I got to kind of narrow it down. And I know that last time I talked about trying to narrow it down in such a way that maybe eliminated like college athletes or high school athletes. But I think instead what I want to narrow it down to is football, because when I was researching it, like football kept coming up. It's the most popular sport in the United States in regards to both professional football and also college football. And then in addition, it is the sport that causes the most amount of injuries to individuals who participate in the sports in the United States in like the last 15 years. So it was like, cool, let's go with that. So with that in mind, I then decided, all right, I need to start pulling some stuff. I need some documents. So with that in mind, I went to my evidence. And what I have here is I have, I don't want to show you the exact articles, right? Because that's not very interesting. But instead, what I wanted to show you is I wanted to show you, what I pulled. And so what I'm pulling is called supporting materials. I'm pulling evidence. I'm pulling, testimony. I'm looking for statistics. I'm looking for examples. I'm looking for definitions, things that are called evidence that I can then extract and bring into my speech in order to develop my own analysis around it. And it'll also potentially give my speech shape while that is occurring. So what I have here is, let's just go for like this example here, right? So this was found in Neurosurgery, volume 57, issue 1, July 2005, pages 128 to 134. So I like keeping that out just so I know where it came from. And here is the actual quotation or a piece of testimony that I lifted from the evidence. And what I have here is a sentence that I wrote in order to kind of tag the evidence. And it's an old debate term. So what tagging evidence means is when you find a quotation, I don't know, let's say, Captain America is the most popular Avengers in the history of modern comic book literature. Terrible. A tagline is what you could extract from that quotation, like what that quotation means if you were trying to prove something, right? So I don't know, if I was talking to a friend, I could be like, here's my tag. I'm like, hey friend, Captain America is super popular. My friend goes, really? Well, why do you say that? I'm like, well, according to a particular citation, it says that Captain America is the most beloved character in the history of the, right, that's my piece of testimony, right? So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to just develop tags. And that's what I've done. So the way I format this is with my tags, I would probably bullet point this, right? I italicize this just to let me know that that's the citation. And then I have this thing here that it's kind of talking about concussion, like concussion-related injuries, about how they're growing. They're a big issue. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I think the biggest harm I can bring in is going to be that the football really hurts people, right? And down here I have another one that says like football is the #1 injury for kids. So when I go to my outline, right, it's starting to kind of start giving shape, right? That I think at this first point, what I want to be talking about is going to be that I need to find what football is. Yep, I think I just do. That's what I gotta do. All right. And then underneath here, I just lifted some stuff from a sociologist that just kind of talks about why you want to look at sports. So, America's favorite sport can be examined for cultural meaning. Now, in other words, we can look at football and we can learn stuff. Here it says it's important to understand the value of sports for several reasons. So this is a tagline that I lifted, and then the Roman numerals are the actual quotation. So I don't want to have quotations in my speech. I want to paraphrase. So it's central to people's lives, so it's connected to nature. It's a central part of people's lives. Idea is connected to major sports institutions. Influences our sense of others. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. And our relationship is the structure of the economic system. Yep. Yep, shapes money. All right, so it's important to understand sports for several reasons. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's my tag there. That's going to support there. Then what do I want to do? Sports psychology is interesting, 2 key concerns. So it looks like my second point is going to be, where did my second point go? is going to be professional football is super dangerous. No, hurts the brains and bodies of players. Yeah, I think that's where I gotta go. I think that's where I gotta go. I gotta blow this up so everybody can see it. Let's start getting my second point down here so I can start working with it. Hurts the brains, bodies of players. Let me clean that up. Okay, so it's physically hurts, and then what else? Football promotes. What else? So unhealthy competition. How? How does it promote unhealthy competition? No, I don't think I have that. I got that it hurts. What else? It hurts brains. Yeah. Violence. You got it. I mean, language of football. You know, you got like, I don't know, let's just riff here for a second. Bombs, blitzes, campaigns, right? So just like the language. What else? Domestic violence and football. I'm pretty sure that the Super Bowl and domestic violence and sex crimes, that's for sure. Yeah, all right, so this first point, how do I get that it's just gonna be football? So we can identify sports. So how do I get there? Look, sports is really important. We should look at sports. Football can be examined for two reasons. First, time constraints. Yeah, because I want to make sure that I'm not going to get dinged for like, you know, making a hasty generalization that somehow by just providing one example, the whole thesis is true. So I really think in my first point, and really what this is going to be at this point in the speech is what I'm imagining is a part where I'm like, look, I understand that, Greg, not all sports are football, but in order for this particular speech, I want to discuss football for two particular reasons. One, because, right, I've only got 6 minutes, but I think more importantly is it is the most important, it is the most popular sport in the United States, right, and has been for since, I think like 1975, according to my evidence. So I think with my evidence, I've got that somewhere on my statistic here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy and paste it into my outline, right from my evidence piece. Right, there's the tag, most popular sport has been since 1975. And this is Gallup, July 2020. So website I went to says so. Right. And I think just for some analysis after that, I'm going to say this can be seen in ratings, the merch, ticket sales, internet traffic, gambling world. Right, so it's just all over the place. Right, football's like super popular. And football is big business and trickles down to youth, right? And then maybe, yep. right, yeah, football's super popular. All right. Then what do I need to have in here? I think that doesn't look right to me. Yeah. Oh, nighttime. Stop. All right, so football's most popular, and then I think football has been promoted to affirm the following values. So what's football been about that I'm going to be like, this is why people love football, and like if you're going to defend football, it's going to be teamwork. It's going to be athleticism. What else? I don't know. Maybe people might. Let's say masculinity. Well, this is a masculinity. Money. Fame. Material value. Okay. All right, I think that is as far as I got today. Not too bad, not too shabby. It is what it is, you know? I mean, some days you're gonna have super fast days and you're gonna do a ton. Other days, but it's happening. I mean, the first point's happening and that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. Because again, I can start thinking to myself, all right, is this, remember, like this is only supposed to be 1 minute and 40 seconds. So I've only got about 1.5 minutes to really explain how America's favorite, I don't know, fandom with football. It's not fandom, it's relationship with football can be examined for cultural meaning. Yep, so if I wanted to, I could be, I'm just gonna go practice that point tonight. And I'm already starting to practice the delivery to see how it flows, see if I like it. Or I can decide to, I don't know, come back later and just work on the third point because I need hurts the brains, promotes violence. Yeah, I think those are simple. I think those are different. I don't know, those might be too similar. I don't know, I gotta ponder that. So, yeah. All right, well, I hope this is helpful. So what did we do today? Today we worked on the first point. We used research as the guide of our speech. So I'm really just kind of brainstorming from this research. I'm gonna read more about it so that I can bring more to my next episode. All right, hope all is well, and I'll talk to you again later. All right, bye.